Welcome to the CyberGov Podcast, where you'll learn how to build a cybersecurity strategy that will help you earn more revenue across your government contracting business. Welcome back to the CyberGov Podcast. Today, I'm excited because I get an opportunity to talk with Angela Young from TechTrend. So we've connected on LinkedIn, comment, of course, just support people all the time. But this is the first time that I really get a good opportunity to sit down with Angela and talk about some things that are near and dear to both of our hearts. Angela, welcome to the show. Please, if you can give us some more information about you.
Absolutely, Romeo. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this podcast. Cybersecurity is near and dear to my heart. CMMC and cybersecurity governance and compliance are just a personal interest to me. I know that makes me kind of an odd bird, but I've spent a lot of my background in kind of hands-on cybersecurity. That's sort of where I got my start in the IT world. And I've since transitioned into my role currently at TechTrend, where I'm a technology evangelist, but we are now, we're focused on all different types of ways to help customers gain CMMC compliance through Azure, GCC High, different types of solutions like that. And we're cloud innovation and cloud migration specialists. And it's an amazing place to be. I've been learning a lot of new things, and I'm really excited to talk about how all of this relates to cybersecurity, CMMC, and also DevSecOps, which is another part of what I'm interested in and part of my role at TechTrend. We've got a DevSecOps SaaS that's very interesting and relates to security. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit about kind of what I've been up to lately in my life.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Angela. And I got a question because you have a very interesting title. Tech Evangelist. So
Yes.
I would love to learn more about your specific role. And just so you can give folks, because there are people out there that are like, you know what, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
What would I be up against if I'm doing that particular role?
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of a unique position. So I do come more from a sales background, but I've also, as I've been going on this journey, I've been in this world for getting close to 10 years now.
Wow.
I am an evangelist for technology and what the advancements that we have now through automation and the different types of tools that we have that can help improve how we do cybersecurity, how we write code, all of that. And so part of what I do is I talk about, I guess, the excitement of the art of the possible and how we can take systems, legacy systems, things that are just not working correctly, data silos, that type of thing. How can we make a solution that works better and more efficiently? How can we make things more secure? So I think there's a story to be told in there, and there's also a very like a deep excitement and hope that I have for technology that really kind of comes from the bottom of my heart. So I'd say, so my role is, I'm definitely I'm helping customers connect with the different types of products that they need for cloud services and that type of thing. But also I'm talking to customers and federal customers about, you know, how we could make this better. You know, how could we make your lives be better through technology? So I do remain hopeful. I'm a proponent of AI ML technology. I'm excited for what it holds. I'm excited for the possibilities. So that's a little bit about how I went from being just a business development person to actual technology evangelist. It's been a fun leap because it's a little bit creative and a little bit exciting, and I learn something new every single day. So it's exciting.
That's awesome. Evangelist, that kind of, so it leads into your background or your personality. So what I see on LinkedIn and when I talk to you, your personality lends itself to a type of evangelist. And with you talking about just technology as a whole and you're hopeful around AI and all those things, were you always like this? Or were you centered on something else and then technology just kind of came in and brought you in? So I'm curious, were you always about technology in this space, or were you going on a different journey?
Well, that's a great question. I've had I've had an interesting career journey. Let's say prior to my time in tech, I sort of did a 180 career-wise and had worked in the film world. It's kind of a totally different world, but it did interface with technology in certain ways with different applications of how film is created and that type of thing. But I realized that I had a passion for it and wanted to get more involved in it, especially with my first job, which involved cybersecurity. And I was able to get hands-on experience with, well, first of all, I was able to get a whole education about why cybersecurity is so necessary and the history of what goes into it and what happened with the B-52 strike fighter and how it was an affront to our national security and how important it is to keep our information safe and secure for the sake of national security, for the sake of everything. It's so important. So I became personally just sort of motivated by it. Also, I just on a personal level, as I was on this journey, got to experience our elementary school got hacked. There was a holdup in Maryland. There was a hack that I got to be part of, just sort of experience what went down. And that my passion for wanting to help secure data better and ensure that security practices were up to the highest standards. Everything was patched, that we were doing our proper cyber hygiene, all of that became kind of a personal goal. I also became involved with the Cybersecurity Association of Maryland. I'm still really tight with them. They're an amazing organization, and I got to be part of the marketing subcommittee with them. So I got to meet a lot of great people and learn a lot of great things with regard to cybersecurity and just all of the different, there's over 400 companies in the state of Maryland that are cyber focused, that are in the membership of CANI. So we've got a huge audience of security people right here in the DMV where I am, where you are. It's a wonderful place to be. It's an exciting time. Obviously, a time of great change kind of going on with everything that's happening with the administration right now. I don't know if we want to get into any of that, but yeah, it's an exciting time. It's an interesting time, and I think there's going to be a lot of change, and we're going to be riding the waves, and I am going to continue to stay positive that we will have improvements and things will get better.
That is awesome. I love to hear. Listen, I'm a sucker for a backstory, okay? So I love to hear about where you came from, how you got there, what you're doing now, why it's important to you. And what I got from what you said, you know what? You got to see it firsthand, personally, specifically around the attack at elementary school.
Yeah.
That particular person, when things become personal, that's when folks really start to pay attention to cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's kind of like an afterthought.
Yeah.
And when we talk about afterthought, it's almost like, and I hear this a lot, bolting on security versus baking it in, right?
Right.
Yes. So sometimes the functionality of something, that is the driver. I need to get it functioning. I just need to get it out there. And the security comes later where we kind of just bolt it on.
Right.
So I think that's a huge part of it. I know you're about to mention something around that because I know that piques your interest around that security as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I guess that's where we can start to pivot a little bit into DevSecOps and sort of what DevSecOps is and why it's important, and why it is more standardized across the spaces, because the importance of baking security infrastructure into the very making of the code is how we can ensure a better process and a better quality product of code, a more secure code going forward. There has to be integration from the beginning with cybersecurity practices in place within the infrastructure of how we are writing and producing and pushing out code. One of the amazing things at TechTrend that we have, well, first of all, we have a FedRAMP moderate cloud environment, which is really cool for people that need compliance. And one of the ways you can get there with cloud innovation is to utilize the FedRAMP moderate technology using like with GCC High, those different types of products, but within that. And then with regard to DevSecOps, we are doing DevSecOps. We have a product that we have It's in place in the federal government with our federal customer. We've got over 1,000 seats. We've pushed out over 400 million lines of secure code, and we have a way for government customers and for companies to do that within a FedRAMP moderate environment, which is one way to help everything to be more secure when your environment is at the FedRAMP level. So I hope that's a good answer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That helps out a lot, especially when we're talking about compliance, because in the beginning you mentioned governance, risk, and compliance. Now, if I'm a government contractor and you were mentioning DevSecOps, how does that impact a government contractor? What does that mean to me as a business owner, a government contractor? Do I need DevSecOps? What does that mean to those government contractors that are out there?
It's a great question. Not every government contractor is writing software. So, if you're making bolts, not the DevSecOps, you might need DevSecOps for your app or whatever, but if you're doing specifically IT for the government and helping the government, supporting the government with creating applications, modernizing systems, legacy migrations, all of the types of sort of like along those lines. So DevSecOps for your applications is essential to ensure that you're adhering to the mandates of zero trust that have been put in place, that you're conscious of what you need to do with the importance of the data that you have, to you're doing everything you can to protect it. I mean, I guess that's kind of the bottom line. Ensuring the access controls are in place properly, and I guess specifically with regard to CMMC, I know that's part of what we're talking about today. For just a little bit on CMMC, right? So we've got 3 levels of CMMC. The level 1 is just kind of like a basic self-attestation, but then level 2 is going to require certification from a C3PAO, and you'll have to do all of what is required to achieve that. So it's a lot of documentation. It's a lot of putting into practice perhaps some things that you weren't doing before. Perhaps you're going to have to buy an industrial grade shredder. Perhaps you're going to have to ensure that there's cameras monitoring. Perhaps you're going to have to put up signage around your office that requires, that has different types of cybersecurity related messaging to ensure that cybersecurity is on your mind. There's a lot of things that must be done. 110 controls, 110, I believe. And so that can be overwhelming for small businesses. That can seem like a huge cost burden. Where a place like TechTrend can come in is by providing already, if we have a FedRAMP moderate environment, you can inherit the security controls. It can help make your pathway to compliance a little easier, if that makes sense. I'm hoping that is making sense.
That's absolutely making sense. That's absolutely making sense. And I like the way that you put it, because when I asked about DevSecOps and how this relates to a government contractor, is this for me? And you immediately said, you know what? Not everybody's making software. Not everybody's doing it. So you immediately pointed that out. So I appreciate that from a government contractor perspective for those listening. In addition to that, when you started talking about CMMC, you went through the levels and then tied that into what TechTrend is doing right now. And what I got out of that is TechTrend can help out and ease some of that burden as it relates to controls and things like that. And when we say controls, we're talking about things that need to be put in place so that you can be compliant. And you may not have to put all of those things in place if you're going with TechTrend, so that they can help you and ease some of that challenge as it relates to implementing those controls.
Yes,
so wonderful.
That's it, Romeo. And we've been doing it for 20 years, and we're a top tier Microsoft Solutions partner. So that is that just adds to what we're able to kind of bring to the table with regard to what we can do. So it's good to be as in deep as we are and as knowledgeable as we are with kind of the level of expertise that we have to help support that process, which is exciting for me because I love to help companies get there. And I know it can be a little bit of an emotional journey. And the reason it's emotional is because it can sometimes involve behavior changes that must be made, which can be met with resistance because it's something new and something you're not used to. Like, some people really they write their password on a sticky note and they
Mm-hmm.
tape it to their computer, and that's how they have learned to live. And I get that. And then you have a muscle memory of that. It's hard to kind of envision how, for instance, a solution like Keeper could put all of your passwords into a locked place, and then you don't even have to remember them anymore. And it'll suggest a very complicated encrypted, 16-bit encrypted password. You don't even have to worry about it, and it'll just fill it in for you. That's just one tool. But there's ways with modern technology that we can help solve some of these problems and solve some of these challenges. But also, just recognize it can be a little emotional. It's hard to hear that you have to change away. Wait, I don't get to have admin rights over my laptop anymore, but what if I want to download stuff, And it's no, you can't. And here's why, because some of that stuff you want to download is a little bit sus, okay? So you got to have the admin say that's okay. It's called access control, baby. We got to get used to it. So there's things
Absolutely.
like that. Just kind of basic stuff, but it's sort of it involves a little bit of a process change. And again, where something like innovative cloud solutioning, and when a FedRAMP moderate environment is already established, and trust me, you got to go through a lot to get FedRAMP moderate. I've now gotten experience what that takes.
Absolutely.
So we're doing that work for you. When we get our environment FedRAMP, we've created an environment where we've ensured that we've got a lot of that stuff in place. And then when you come with us, when you go with a solution like that, then you're going to get to take advantage of some of that work that's already been done, and you get to incorporate that into your system security plan, so you don't have to make that up from scratch or however that is. So there's reasons why it can be, especially for smaller businesses, it can be more cost effective in some, it can be, so than having to do it all yourself. So that's a little bit about where we can talk, and I encourage anyone who's hearing this and has any questions at all, find me on LinkedIn. I'd love to talk to you more about it. So, and I love talking about this with you, Romeo. It's very much fun. I'm having a very good time right now. I hope you are too.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I love to talk about these types of things. You've been talking about stuff that gets me excited.
Yeah.
One, cybersecurity, CMMC, helping small businesses. That is a passion.
Yes.
I am a small business. We are small businesses. So that's a passion for me. The other thing that you were mentioning earlier, so I'm curious about this as it relates to CMMC, and small businesses are looking to do things that are cost effective, right?
Yeah.
Is there any possibility that AI can help small businesses either write an SSP or get close to one, or possibly help to answer some of the policies and procedures? Because frankly, there's some policies that need to be in place, right? Is there any
that's a
way
great
that
question. This would be my answer. I think that, AI ML evangelism is part of my bag, so I will say that I do think it can help get you a start. However, what's important with any kind of AI ML, you got to take into consideration when their last data import was. You got to also take into consideration hallucinations are possible. It's not perfect. For instance, this was a while back ago. I think they have updated it since then on the 4.0 ChatGPT, but I asked a few months ago anyway, I think, how many levels of CMMC are there, and it said 5. So it had not, that iteration of when they ingested their last information had not taken into consideration the shift that was made when it went down to 3. So what I would say is, yes, I think it can get you started. I think it can reduce your workload. I think there's a way to use it that can be beneficial. Additionally, I think you have to take it with a grain of salt and ensure that it's not spitting out some nonsense, which can happen. And also, it can be not quite perfectly up to date. So I think you always got to double check. But at the same time, yes, I think our small businesses that are, if you don't have a system security plan and you want to look up, do that up on, if it's ChatGPT, Google Vertex, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. There's many different ones, and it will pop one out for you. Sure, it will. You can make it pop out any kind of document you want. It's now, is it going to be correct? No guarantees on that. Yeah, the hallucinations of AI are part of what makes it so much fun. Like when you ask it to make an image and then all of a sudden it has 7 fingers. It's not perfect, but but I guess it's probably better than what you could do with a pencil and paper. I would say probably it is in its instance. So yeah, that's just part of what that's just part of our reality. That's just part of what we live with now. The technology is here, and we can't put Pandora back in the box, unfortunately. It's out. So our very best that we can do is become a master at it. And if we don't, our competitors will, and we'll be left in the dust. So yeah, that's my ultimate, you better be a master of AI ML if you want to stay on top of things, would be my recommendation to everyone. But yeah, again, I'm an evangelist for this though. So that's just part of how I roll.
Awesome. I love that answer, especially around it could be a start. It not
be a start.
Foolproof. Yeah. It could be a start, but it's not foolproof. And the hallucinations. So can you define that for somebody who, okay. What, this is
all right.
a regular.
Yes, I can define a hallucination. I was actually trying to explain to a friend of mine recently. We were over the holidays, who's a writer who does not use ChatGPT. She has a master's degree in creative writing. She is just very upset about ChatGPT, as any paid writer probably is right now. But I wanted to show her an example of an AI hallucination. So I asked AI to write an essay about the symbolism of breast imagery in World War II. Okay? AI wrote me one of the most hilarious and insane essays about how, Rosie the Riveter's body was part of the, it made an answer. It made a correlation. Was that correct? I don't think any historian would give it a thumbs up. I was going to publish it on LinkedIn, but then I was like, I shouldn't publish this on LinkedIn. But did I laugh until I cried? Absolutely, because it was wild. And then I was like, so yeah, it can make connections that are not necessarily there, and you're gonna have to use your critical thinking. I know we're all a little soft on that right now, but we got to get sharper on that and use our human brains and our critical thinking to be like, wait a minute, I don't think Rosie the Riveter's boobs started World War II anyway. So yeah, so that's just a weird example, and forgive me if that's too off color, but it made me laugh hard enough that I thought it was a good enough example. So I share that with you for the sake of your audience, and I hope it perks up everyone's day. But yeah.
Thank you.
But
I appreciate
that. With regard to other hallucinations, I would say more relevant. For instance, when I asked how many levels of CMMC there were, and it said 5. That's a hallucination because that is not correct. It's based on information that is no longer accurate. So that can happen. I don't know how people think it all works, but it has to do with the date of the last import of the technology. You can ask it if you want to know. You can ask ChatGPT when the date of the last import was. It's probably going to be maybe it's going to be later. A lot of it's from 2023. So then be like, oh, did some things happen that changed some things since 2023? And then I think we could all agree the answer is yes. So yeah,
it's a great point.
This is a helpful technology and it's getting better by the minute. Yeah, it still has its challenges and it's not perfect. We're in a really unique time of AI. I think this is part of what makes it so fascinating, because it's getting better, because it's changing by the minute, because it's getting smarter every single day with every single inquiry that's made. It's just an evolving force, and that's part of what makes it interesting too. So I do believe it will keep getting better. Do I believe we will get to a point where it will surpass what humans can do with critical thinking? I'm not sold on that yet. I'm not sold on that yet. I do believe we're going to need humans that know how to do critical thinking to be able to ultimately manage this whole thing. Although, HAL in 2001 and all of that, it's a fun thing to imagine. I don't think that is where we are at right now, although it seems fun to imagine sometimes that we're there. That's a Stanley Kubrick reference from 2001 for those of you who are not film nerds like me. Anyway.
I like that. And the hallucinations always made me think about one of my favorite movies, Minority Report. So,
okay. Yeah.
For some reason, every time it happens, I'm like, Minority Report.
Yeah,
reason.
I mean, there's so many movies from, I feel like, our childhoods where it's like, oh my God, how did we get here? We're living it, man. But that's okay.
Exactly.
It's exciting. It's exciting to live now. It's a really exciting time. There's so much possibility. There's so much hope, and there's good news for small businesses. I really believe there are ways to make things easier. There are ways to make things more possible. If you're doing business with the DoD as a small, if you need to attain CMMC ASAP so you don't lose out on any contracts coming up, this is like going into place, like you're going to not get those if you don't have this. It's important to ensure that you're doing this. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get those anymore. So there's definitely a pressure. And if you're not feeling it, small businesses, you should be.
Absolutely.
This is like a real thing now. It was theoretical for a while, it was still being thought out for a long time. I think people were like, is this even going to happen? But it's happening, and we're doing it. So if you don't have a C3PAO to certify you right now, I suggest give me a call. I can help refer you, but you want to think about that, because you're going to need to get that. So
I had a lot of folks that absolutely. I had a lot of folks that when we talked about CMMC probably about a year ago, maybe a year and a half, and they just kept saying, they'll keep kicking that down the road. I'm not worried about it right now. And now that moment is down the road. we're all here now.
I know, it's crazy. Now, so. It's that movement of the government. It takes a while for it to go, but then it goes, and then it's going.
Yep.
And
it happens.
It happened.
So I'm going to switch subjects here.
In a new world.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch subjects here for a second.
Yes.
Because I've always been an advocate for, just health and wellness as a whole. So when I say health and wellness, I mean taking care of yourself, making sure that we are preventing burnout, finding healthy things to do, because I'll be the first to admit, I haven't always been the best at doing that. Sometimes I'll get into, look, I'm just going to eat this food, because that's partially why I go to the gym, just to eat.
I get it.
I'm curious.
Hey, food's delicious.
From your perspective. Yes. Isn't it so many things to try?
It's true. And you got to eat. It's like you can't get away from this stuff. But
Right.
So work-life balance. I do have an answer for you. I learned about a journaling technique. It's called bullet journaling. I don't know if you've ever heard of bullet journaling before, but I
haven't.
I had the incredible fortune of getting to attend a bullet journaling workshop. And first of all, go ahead and YouTube it if you want to go down a rabbit hole, because people go ham on bullet journaling. But essentially, it's a process of collecting your thoughts, sifting through your thoughts, making a plan of action, and taking action on those items. It seems so simple. However, actually doing it is a practice that you got to get into. But what it involves is step one. You just do rapid fire bullet points down on a page. Don't think about it. It can be, gotta write that RFP, gotta make that dentist appointment, gotta take my kid to soccer, gotta do my timesheet. It can be all of the things, doesn't matter. Get it all out. That's called the rapid bulleting. Okay. After you get it all out and you're like, ugh, I think that's it. Now you're gonna go look back through it. You're gonna prioritize it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to create a little schedule for yourself. You're going to write it out with your hand. Part of this is using your hands. I know that's so old school. There's a connection when you're writing it out on a piece of paper, and then you look at it and you sort it out, and then you write up a little calendar. What's February looking like? Hey, how about March? Make it be pretty. This is where you can go down the rabbit hole, because people can make it be really, really pretty. But the important thing is you don't just do this one time. You got to do this every day. You got to look back through your notes to make sure you didn't forget anything. What's slipping through the cracks? You got to take inventory on your progress, and you've got to create your actionable goals. So what I can tell you with regard to work-life balance, if organization is something that you struggle with, or if there just seems like too many tasks, this can be your personal life, this can be your professional life. You can do it however you want. You can have 5 bullet journals. There's no rules. But what it does do, help you get focused. So what's important is you're using your time strategically. And I think when you do that, you can make time to do your work, and then make time to shut that laptop down, walk away, breathe, go for a walk. Remember that there's a blue sky. Remember that there are rivers. Remember that there are trees outside. Remember that there's life outside of your screen. Remember that there's life outside of cybersecurity. You know, that type of thing. Because you got to do that. If you're not doing that, you're not taking care of yourself, right? We can't be like, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. We've all seen The Shining, again, a Kubrick reference for you. And if you haven't Shining, I hope you like scary movies, but go watch it because it's really good.
Yep. Bullet journaling. Now I'm gonna have to YouTube. I'm gonna have to. Like that's.
You're gonna have fun. Go down a rabbit hole. It really helped me to get myself organized and help my career kind of to the next level. Oh, I'm gonna throw out one other suggestion too that's been extremely helpful for me, and that would be, it doesn't matter where you're at in your career. Seek out a professional mentor.
Oh, 100%.
Who do you idolize? Who do you think is a rock star? Who do you want to be?
Absolutely.
Find that person and ask that person to be your mentor. You never know what might happen. They might say yes, and then you might be on like Chutes and Ladders. Like all of a sudden, you're taking the ladder up. I can tell you, I have done that, and oh my gosh, it's just been a really magical thing for me, and also has inspired me to want to give back to others. So yeah, for work-life balance, I guess that does kind of count in there, because you should always be thinking of your professional development. That should always be on your list of things you want to improve. You should always be thinking about what kind of certifications you can get to make yourself smarter. What can you learn to do your job better? Always be improving, always be learning. But yeah, that's how I keep myself really busy. So I have to take my own advice, do a little bullet journaling, and then close my computer so I can breathe from time
There you go. Now, when you're not doing any bullet journaling or anything related to cybersecurity, is there a hobby that you have that, you know what, it's just, this helps me to relax? Do you take a walk, or movies, or what would you do in your spare time?
Oh, I like to jam out on, that's how I like to release steam. I like to sing and just jam out on my guitar. Everybody's got their thing that I like. For me, that's fun. And no, it's not for anyone to hear. It's just for me to release some
musician.
To release things. But yeah, I like to sing and make music. That's part of what I like to do. So, but what else? Yeah, walking, love it. Oh, baking. I compulsively bake. Watch out, because Romeo, I'm about to bring you some cupcakes. Like, it's about to happen. But yeah, I think everybody's got to find their thing that is a mellow and fun activity for them. So yeah, really
I love
important.
it, Angela. Another person that I have met that is into music, and I'm kind of finding this theme. So I'm gonna really take some statistics later on, because I'm really interested in this. There's so many folks in cybersecurity that love music, or play music, or sing. I'm a music education major, so
okay.
I'm watching this take place. And some of the most amazing cyber practitioners that I've met have this wonderful creative side,
Oh,
either
yeah.
artists or musicians. So I'm all about it. That just made me even more excited.
Oh my gosh. So I think what you said is we're starting a band and I'm here for it.
Yes.
So let's make some music. I'm ready.
Let's
I
do
wrote
it.
a pretty clever hook. You might recognize it, but I'm down with GCC. Yeah, you know me. Anyways, I have
Hey.
a whole naughty by nature, but yeah, whatever. That's just fun. And I have a whole thing for the whole song, but I'm not gonna do that right now. But for another day, when you want me to rap, I'll come on and we'll do it. It'll be
100%.
I'll wear a different outfit. I'll try to bring in a little bit more rock star for you.
100%. Angela, this has been fun. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show to talk about DevSecOps, if they need it as a government contractor, CMMC, what you can do, how TechTrend can help, and then lastly, bullet journaling and music, one of my favorites. So I really appreciate you taking the time. Now, if folks needed to contact you or want to get into contact with you, what's the best way that they can reach you?
Oh, hit me up on LinkedIn. I am there. I would love to connect with you. Become my friend. Send me a message. I am responsive. I'm on there. You can connect with me there. You can connect with me through TechTrend. But yeah, I'm available. I'm out there. Look me up. I'm Angela Young on LinkedIn. I think I'm the only technology evangelist with my name, but I might be wrong on that. But yeah, TechTrend. You'll find me. I'm pretty findable.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angela. We've had a great time today. Please come back for the next episode on the CyberGov Podcast as we talk about CMMC for government contractors. Have a wonderful day. Come listen to us on YouTube, LinkedIn, or your favorite podcasting app.